On the morning of July 5, 2017, a man sits in front of his laptop inside a villa in Bangkok. Online, he is known only by a pseudonym, Alpha02. In real life, he is a millionaire, living a luxurious lifestyle, driving exotic cars, and believing himself untouchable in Thailand. Suddenly, a loud crash breaks the quiet. A Toyota Camry is slammed into his front gate. Concerned, he leaves his computer and rushes outside. It is a mistake with fatal consequences. The driver is not a careless motorist. She is an undercover officer of the Royal Thai Police. Moments later, agents from the FBI and D close in. Authorities from 7 countries have been waiting for this moment for years. The hunt for the king of the dark web has reached its climax. The rise of the dark web, the early 2010s, marked the dawn of the modern dark web. Hidden behind layers of anonymity and fueled by Bitcoin, it became a haven for criminals. Drugs, weapons, stolen data, and malware could be bought and sold at a global scale, beyond the reach of traditional law enforcement. The most famous of these markets was Silk Road, launched in 2011. It attracted over 100,000 customers, but was shut down just 2.5 years later when its founder was caught and sentenced to life in prison, but success breeds imitators. Dozens of new marketplaces emerged. Some collapsed in hacks. Others vanished in so-called exit scams, where administrators disappeared with millions of dollars. Amid this chaos, a new contender appeared, one that would soon dominate them all. AlphaBay. AlphaBay. A dark web empire. In July 2014, Alpha02 launched AlphaBay. At first, it offered only stolen credit card data, but the marketplace quickly expanded to drugs, firearms, malware, and money laundering services. The rules were few. Child abuse material was banned, hit-and-run services were forbidden, stolen data from Russian banks was off-limits. Whether this was to avoid angering Russian authorities or to make Alpha02 appear Russian remains uncertain. The site functioned like a criminal version of Amazon. It had categories, search filters, escrow payments, and even built-in tools to obscure transactions. Buyers could pay in Bitcoin, Monero, or Ethereum. AlphaBay grew fast. Within a year, it had 200,000 registered users and 40,000 sellers. By 2017, it listed over 300,000 items and was generating more than $500,000 in sales every day. Alpha02 earned a cut of every transaction between 2 and 4%. He became a multi-millionaire. IC empire expanded. Alpha02 appointed deputies. A figure known as desnake became his second in command, while moderators handled disputes and public relations. Eventually, Alpha02 stepped back, renaming himself simply admin, while desnake became the marketplace's face. But Alpha02's retreat did not escape the notice of US investigators. They wanted the man behind the mask. The global hunt began. The breakthrough. For months, American investigators chased shadows. Alpha02 appeared flawless, always careful, always hidden. Then, in December 2016, everything changed. An anonymous informant contacted DEA agent Robert Miller in Fresno, California. The tip: in AlphaBay's earliest days, its founder had made a rookie mistake. Every new user once received a welcome email, and buried in the metadata of one of those emails was the sender's real address. pimp_alex_91@hotmail.com. From this clue, investigators pieced together a trail. Old photos on skyrock.com. A dating profile from Trois-Rivières, Quebec. A username on a tech forum. It all pointed to the same man. Alexandre Cazes, born in 1991. They tracked his PayPal accounts, LinkedIn profile, and Facebook connections. He was living in Thailand, married to a local woman, running tech businesses, and flaunting his wealth. The king of the dark web had a name and a location. Closing in, Cazes owned multiple properties in Bangkok, a holiday home in Phuket, and was buying another villa in Cyprus. He drove luxury cars, including a Lamborghini and a Porsche Panamera. Authorities shadowed him relentlessly, tracking his iPhone, monitoring his movements, and studying his routines. Despite his digital empire, his daily life was mundane. Gym visits, language classes, dinners with his wife. But behind closed doors, he entertained numerous affairs, earning one of his properties the nickname the Bachelor Pad. The stage was set. Operation Bayonet, at the same time, European investigators were dismantling another major marketplace, Hansa. Dutch authorities secretly seized its servers and, together with German police, arrested its operators. But instead of shutting it down immediately, they took control of the site. For weeks, they ran Hansa as a honeypot, collecting data on thousands of unsuspecting criminals who had flocked there after AlphaBay's sudden disappearance. Meanwhile, in Bangkok, the final phase of Operation Bayonet began. The arrest July 5, 2017. An undercover officer in a gray Toyota Camry staged a minor crash outside Cazes' villa. As expected, he rushed out to investigate, leaving his laptop unlocked inside. Agents swarmed. Cazes tried to retreat to his computer, but was tackled before he could encrypt it. On the screen, investigators found what they had been hunting for: administrator access to AlphaBay. The empire collapsed in an instant. Cazes' fortune over $23 million in cryptocurrency, luxury cars, villas, and even a hotel was seized. His wife was charged with money laundering. 1 week later, on July 12th, Alexandre Cazes was found dead in his Thai prison cell. The official cause: suicide. The king of the dark web was gone. Aftermath: at first, the shutdown of AlphaBay was kept secret. Rumors spread of a hack or an exit scam. Dealers and customers scrambled to migrate elsewhere, many to Hansa, unaware that law enforcement was running it. For a month, authorities quietly gathered evidence on thousands of users. Then, on July 20th, 2017, both AlphaBay and Hansa were shut down publicly. The US Department of Justice declared it a massive victory in the war on cybercrime. But the story doesn't end there. The demand for drugs, weapons, and stolen data has never faded. New marketplaces emerged. Hydra in Russia grew to twice AlphaBay's size before its own takedown in 2021. And in a twist of fate, desnake Alpha O2's old lieutenant relaunched AlphaBay in 2021. The cat-and-mouse game continues.